Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about the different markets of illustration, aka what to say when someone is questioning you on why you want to be an artist. It happens to all of us, right? Parents, friends, relatives, any good-natured stranger on the street. Everyone asks, what are you going to do with an illustration degree? What are you going to do with an art degree? What are you going to do with your life? I know, it's such an intimidating answer. It's an intimidating question for us because, quite frankly, until college, I didn't even really know most of the markets of illustration. Let me guess. If someone asked you, what can you do as an illustrator? You're probably thinking to yourself, like, comic book artist, children's book illustrator, editorial illustrator, and maybe like a storyboard concept artist person. And that's pretty much where the line is drawn, right? So what do you do? What do you say? There's a lot of markets of illustration. In fact, my lovely professor wrote a whole book on the 50 markets of just illustration alone, which is a book that I'm going to be talking about heavily in this video because it's a great book and he's a great guy and you should buy it. Anyway, not to steal his thunder, but I'm going to be stealing quite a few of the things that he was talking about, or at least I'm going to talk about the cool ones, and guess what, guys? It's in a PowerPoint! I haven't done a PowerPoint video in what feels like a million years, and that's what I'm going to do today because it's high visuals, so you need to keep your eyes on the prize. Watch this video for once, because I'm going to be showing you lots of visual examples. So without further ado, let's start talking about the different fields of illustration, or at least a selection of the different fields, because let's be real, I don't know all of them. So let's talk about some of the obvious ones first. Editorial illustration. Editorial is the kind of illustration that you're going to see in like a magazine or in a newspaper, in an online article, etc. It's always paired with news, it's paired with a small piece of text. So editorial is really good if you're someone who likes to work fast, likes tight deadlines, and likes pushing creativity, because that's the perfect field for you. These commissions are not, you don't really get a ton of money per commission, but it's also one of the easiest markets-ish. It's kind of easy to get into because you can go talk to a lot of publishers and they're always in demand. Next would be book or children's book illustrations. We all know children's book illustrations is a pretty cool market. This is perfect if you really love kids, if you have a very whimsical, fun kind of style, and if you have a very clear sort of storytelling narrative perspective. It's good if you're one of those people that is good at redrawing the same character over and over again, if you have a clear, distinctive style. Also, there is comic book illustration. I know so many amazing comic artists out there. There are people who are more humorous illustration, and then there's also just the people who are doing like actual book comic. Great for people who are totally fine spending all hours of the night drawing and having a story that they are trying to sell themselves. There's tons of different worlds of scientific illustration. My professor, John Roman, he broke it down into several different categories. I'm just going to talk broadly. You're going to need people that can draw plants, like botanical illustration, people who can draw animals. There's a whole section devoted to birds. People who can just draw anything that has to do with the natural world is really important for scientists because they need to illustrate their points. So if you're really into drawing plants, if you love aquatic life, if you like birds, if you like any kind of animal creature, you're going to be right at home in this field. Tattoo artists. This is perfect for people who are obviously really interested in tattoos and they're not afraid of making no mistakes, and for people who are not afraid of putting pain on others. So if you're interested in that, tattoo industry is a little bit difficult to get into, I'm not gonna lie, because a lot of people want to be tattoo artists, but it's a really creative field and it's expanding in terms of style, so it's a great one to go into. Portrait illustration. People love their portraits done. Pretty much the second you identify as an artist, you're gonna have people saying, "Can you draw me?" It never goes away. People want their portraits for weddings, they want family portraits, they want portraits of their dogs. Like, whatever the case may be, if you can draw someone, even if it's a caricature kind of style, people like drawings of themselves. So if you really like portraiture, that's a great way to make some money. Next would be food illustration. People need food illustrations not only for cookbooks, but also for food magazines, or any kind of editorial work that just happens to include a piece about food. It's needed for product design. Food illustration is a nice niche market, and It's a great market. I think there's tons of really cool food illustrators out there with really distinct styles. And if you can make food look tasty and you have a great time drawing something that you're not going to be able to eat immediately, this is the perfect field for you. Of course, there's fashion illustration, which is perfect for people who love fashion and want to combine that with their drawing. We need people who have great ideas of how to transform clothing. And what better way than to do fashion illustration? And if you don't want to sew. Another is surface pattern artists. This is for people who are really into patterning. This is good for people who like drawing their own kind of thing and will just draw it repeatedly. And it means seeing your artwork on multiple textiles or products. It could be pillows and blankets, or it could be notebooks and backpacks. Another one is kind of like the outdoor artists. That's what I'm calling them. And those are like the muralists, people who are doing huge things on walls for buildings or companies or whatever. And also the people who are doing like street art. People love that crap. Oh my God. It's like the best way to pull in tourists. It's great for events, you know. People like that stuff and they will hire someone who can make things look fabulous with huge designs. Great for people who like to work big, who like to work outside, who like to have something semi-permanent. It's a great way to make your mark on a little town. Obviously, animation is a huge, huge industry that a lot of illustrators are trying to nudge their way into. And where can you fit in the animation world? Of course, that's concept art. People need designs for characters. People need designs for houses and landscapes. People need designs for any number of odd things. Animators are really good at making those things move and bring them to life, but illustrators are the ones that have the vision for what that thing will be. A lot of creative license, hard hours, greeting card illustration. You know how when you go to the Hallmark section of basically any like Kmart or Walgreens or whatever, someone needs to design those cards. So if you're kind of like a cutesy-feely sort of person and you want to see your work on a card, that's a great place to go to. Again, huge creative license because your whole design ends up on this cute little thingamajiggy. And in that same kind of category, hand lettering. That market has been exploding lately. If you can do hand lettering, like really cool illustrated hand lettering, you've got it in the bag, at least for right now in the 2010s. People love that stuff on cards. They love it on inspirational posters. They love that on a whole manner of things, and it can be used for a lot of industries. And I mean, I could go on and on, guys. I mean, he literally wrote down 50 kinds of markets. You can be an art teacher. You can be an art critic or a reviewer. You can be a forensic sketch artist. You can be a computer game designer, a web face designer. I mean, automobiles, postage stamp, archaeological illustration. It goes on and on and on. And the thing is, when he was teaching all of this to us, he said that there's 50 markets of illustration, but he's 100% sure that there are way more than 50. Each one of these fields that I'm talking about basically branches off into its own unique niche markets in themselves. And I haven't even talked about all of the 50, which is why I gotta get his book. It's called The 50 Markets of Illustration. It's by John Roman. You can get it on Amazon. You can get it on numerous places, bookstores, etc. It's a good book if you just want to get an overview, a little tay-tay of all the different markets of illustration. That's a good gig. If your parents are adamant that there is no way you could possibly make it as an illustrator, you can just literally hand them a book and be like, well, there's 50 different markets that I could potentially get into, so meh. Don't do that. That's a very immature way to go about it. But hey, if you're trying to figure out what you want to do and you know art's the way, but you're not really sure what's the right path, that's a really good book to figure it out. So those are my resources for this video. And I hope that this gave you a little bit of inspiration, a little bit of confidence that you can make it out as an illustrator. And you don't have to go, you know, if you want to be an illustrator, that doesn't mean you are relegated to children's books, right? There's many, many different things that you can do with that skill set. And that could be as simple as, hey, doing skateboard design, doing t-shirt design. There's, every object in the world needs something cool on it so that it could sell. So, people like cool crap, and you can make cool crap. So, take your art out there and put it into the world on whatever works best for you. I hope this was inspirational. If you know of any other markets of illustration that you have to tell, leave it down in the comment section below. I will be there as well. I tend to kind of hang around in the comment section for the first 48 hours after a video goes live, and you can always contact me down there. So, I'll see you in the next video. Hope you guys are having an awesome day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.